Game started.
Edison D from Japan. Cool. Okay, well, let's try c4. Just did e4. Okay, knight f6. Let's go with knight c3, continuing with the light square strategy, the fianchetto. And he does a symmetric setup. So let's see. I don't know where he's putting his pawns. I could just go e4 right here and go into a Botvinnik setup, and clamp down on d4, get the knight here. This pawn on e4 is well supported by these two pieces. The bishop is blocked in at the moment, but that may change as these pawns go forward. Like f4 is an idea. So I don't want to allow the knight to hop into the d3 square. You got to be wary about those holes in your position, and also about this diagonal here. When you push on with f4, if that's the way you go with this, it opens up this diagonal to the king, which I've been rudely surprised by on occasion. Okay, so he's going for the pin. Now that's a good bishop, isn't it? Let's kick the bishop and see if he really wants to trade for a knight. Otherwise, he just has to retreat. He has no good square on this diagonal. I take that back. He has a square on that diagonal. Okay, well, how about if I unpin the knight? Well, he's just going to take my bishop, huh? He will just take my bishop. I was just saying, I can unpin my knight or kick his knight. Let's develop the bishop. Now I was thinking of unpinning with the move queen to, yeah, and he went ahead and took with the move queen to d2, putting it on this diagonal. This is a good diagonal for his bishop. There's no pawns on that diagonal, so neither side has tried to block it. So he's a good dark squared bishop. Queen d2. I could play f4 immediately instead of queen d2 and bishop here. After f4, does this knight have squares? He can go back to these two squares and then redeploy. I think it's better off just to trade off this bishop while I have the chance. Now maybe he's intending, let's see what his intention is. We'll test. He could just drop the bishop back. Yeah, since he moved the rook off of f8, he has the option of moving the bishop back. So he keeps a good bishop, but then he allows my bishop to take up a post inside his camp here, which may be a bit annoying. So how about just f4, then f5, trying to open up lines against his king. I have a rook, queen, and knight ready to jump in. I don't think his knights can come in anywhere, so he has to go back. And then after f5, he can't push the g-pawn forward, so I can exchange and open up a line, open up the f-file, and get my queen to... yeah, he just goes back there. Well, it makes some sense, right? That's a good post for that knight. And when the queen leaves off defense of this pawn. But I see. Yes, he still can't advance. Let's take a moment to shore up things in the center here. I'm going to defend the c-pawn so I can push d4, so I can kick this knight away, so I can play my queen to my queen to g5 here, and then take here and crash through. I hope. It's kind of a long-winded plan, but I think it's logical. I needed to defend the c-pawn so I could play this move d4 without losing material or tempo. So he is moving his queen there. So once again, his knight has to move, I think. Now it's only got c6. Now queen here. If he takes this pawn, I can take back... Oh, I can't take the pawn. I've just pinned it. And I'm going to take here. Put pressure on that g-pawn. His king can approach. His king could go to h7 to try and hold on to things. King h7 takes with check, takes. And I'm still not breaking through, but I have an open f-file and a knight which could hop in. Ah, he goes there. That's not a bad idea. Let's see, is there a way to gain a tempo here somehow? Queen here, maybe. His knight still can't really approach this knight, and his queen has no way in. The rook is on this pawn as well as... okay, yeah, he can take there. Okay, this knight is defended. Let's give up that pawn and attack here. Yeah, it's easy to ignore that bishop in the corner. He took there. He could have taken the knight. Knight takes, bishop takes, rook is an idea here. So I guess that means I should move this rook. Let's put the rook here on an open file, or potentially open file here. Put it against his queen, and then I'll bring the knight in via f4 to put more pressure on g6 here. Now I'm down a pawn, but I still like this position. His bishop is hitting, well, it's hitting a lot of squares on this diagonal. His knight comes back. Yeah, he goes there with the bishop. So should I just take it? I guess not, but where does the queen go if I don't take? Yeah, I don't see. I mean, it was rook takes was the idea. I don't see that leading to a lot. Yeah, maybe he has enough over here to defend his king. Interesting. Queen back to f3, knight to f4 still. He's still got this loose g-pawn here. And with the knight on h7, he can't defend it. But that works. That hits my queen. Let's see here. Although at the cost of shutting in his bishop a bit. Can play pawn to pawn c5 to weaken things in the center here. Yeah, he can just trade. I can't really avoid that trade. Okay, then. Oh, he's ganging up on. He is ganging up on h6 with that move, and he's hitting my queen. The check there is guarded. Okay, so when I move the queen away, he can take here with check. The king runs this way. What other checks does he have? He has a check with a knight here, which is guarded, or a queen here, and I run this way. I guess I just have to run for it. The knight is holding onto this pawn, and the rooks are protecting each other. But this is totally backfired. Check there is devastating. That's what it is. Check from the F file. Because the rook is undefended. Check, and I move here, and he's got the queen and rook coordinating on my rook, so I just lose massive material here. Maybe he's concerned about his knight hanging, but the checks come
Check.
first. Yeah. So if I sacrifice a knight here to block this file, pawn takes, pawn takes. I can take my queen, and that looks awful. But this looks awful too. So I guess it's better to give up the knight than give up the rook, huh? Yeah, so pawn here, I guess. Okay. I think he could just take the queen, and then after I take back, move his knight somewhere. I don't see anything better. Maybe he's wondering if, he could take...
Check.
Yeah, I was going to say he could take here. I take with the queen and bring the rook there. That's more or less just a trade of 2 rooks for a queen. That might have been, I don't know, more effective. Okay, so he's got a knight and a rook coordinating here. This king is a bit exposed. Maybe I'll just go for some kind of perpetual. I've got my rooks against his open king. I'll get a passed pawn. That's funny, though. I had such a promising attack, or so it seemed to me. It'll be interesting to look at that in the post-mortem and see where it went downhill. Yeah, sometimes these positions, these double-edged positions, can be misleading. Actually, yeah, the pawn was no longer under attack. I'm not sure why I played that. Let's attack this guy. Yeah, he can just round that up. Maybe I should double rooks here. I do have an active king. That's one thing I'm trying, but he has no weaknesses over here. If I could gobble up some of his pawns, that might be a way to play this. But it doesn't seem to be happening. I guess I can throw my pawns forward and try and create some weaknesses that way. Okay, that's so I can double rooks if he tries to grab the pawn here. He can force some trades. That's probably a good strategy. Just place his rook here and force some trades. He's going to try and round up that pawn, huh? Let's see, if I go here, maybe this way. If I go here and then he checks me, okay, so he's going for the trade. I really don't have much to say about that. Let's just try and get rid of all the pawns here. If I hadn't prepared this move b4 with a3, then he could have checked my king away and then just grabbed the pawn. So now if he checks me, my king goes to b2, holding on to the pawn at least, and then if he takes, I can take back. So it's a way of avoiding losing a pawn, but still trying to get some exchanges going. Okay, one pawn down. Let's see, maybe here. This is tough. Yeah, he's got pawns on both sides of the board. It's going to be tough to round them all up. But I am going to play my rook to b2 and go for it. Try and pick up another pawn or two over here. So that's a problem, right? For me, I mean. Okay, let's stop the pawn from advancing. Knight here, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then knight here to chase my rook away. If he plays that move, I will resign. Let's see if he finds it. The thing is, he's got a good setup here. He can't really.
Server
I can't really get my king in to get to these pawns, so my attempts to create weaknesses over here have failed, basically. He moved his king. Well, if he's not going to win the game, he has to find the winning move. There, he found it. Okay, good game. I will upload this and do a post-mortem. See you guys later. Bye.